Hi, everyone. Welcome to A New View. I'm Kim, and I'm here with Juji, Lee, and Shira. We are four friends, speakers, and professionals from different cultures, backgrounds, and age groups coming together to offer healing and inspiration. There is incredible power in believing. Our beliefs can build us up or tear us down. Questioning what we believe is critical since it informs the path our lives will take. So, ladies, why do we hold on to beliefs that don't serve us?
I guess I'll go first. I just want to point out that our show's name is A New View. So we're constantly questioning our beliefs, I feel, and sharing with one another when we have like epiphanies about views that we are letting go of and things like that, which is why I love this show so much, because I feel like we get to witness each other's evolution. And I really love that. For some other people in my life, it's not necessarily as straightforward. And so I've started using this phrase a lot because I feel like old beliefs, as harmful as they can be, feel a lot like a security blanket to some people. And I call it the devil you know, because better the devil you know than the devil you don't. So holding on to a belief can simply be a matter of comfort and familiarity. And it's very uncomfortable when beliefs are unfamiliar in a way, when you have to like reprogram yourself. And then once that reprogramming begins, behaving differently as a result of it. It's like shedding old skin and then feeling very like raw and naked when you're stepping into that new possibility of who that is. Like I started that journey over 3 years ago, and now I'm so comfortable in the discomfort of new realizations. But I feel like it really took me a while to get there. And I look forward when new realizations come, but I know that it isn't that way for everyone.
Wow. First of all, I got such a chill when you said that we're watching each other's evolution. I was like, that's so true. And like things are evolving all the time. Like we can become somebody new every single day, every single hour, every single minute. Like we have the power to do that. But the programming thing you talked about is fascinating because I think I've mentioned on the show before. I read a book called What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. And he literally, the author, talks about how our brains are like computer programming. Like there's software in there and we have to override the programming. That is so hard to do, but it's kind of like Chinese water torture. I shouldn't say that. It's literally like a drip, drip, drip. Like you have to say it every single thing. And then all of a sudden you wake up one day and go, oh, I feel different inside. Or if you really realize how deeply ingrained a belief is, it could be a religious belief, it could be a belief about other people, it could be a belief about yourself. But if you start to go, yeah, you know what, that's not really serving me anymore, and you start to reinforce every day, every minute, a different belief, you will all, even if it doesn't feel natural in the beginning, you will one day wake up and go, oh, I feel different. I just feel different. And for me, it's been a believing in myself and a trusting of myself and a seeing, having a vision for myself. Whereas before it was like I would kind of go along and go with the flow, which is a good thing. Going with the flow is a good thing, but not if it's at the expense of your own evolution. So it's like you have to be constantly questioning what you believe. Otherwise, you'll just stay stuck.
Mm.
Yeah.
And you have to be open to, like you said, just open in general to dissecting that or asking yourself questions about that or looking at a belief you have. I think, I can't help but think of my mom who's very stuck in her beliefs. There is no talking her out of her beliefs. She is not open to looking at a different belief. She's just, that's what she believes and she's sticking to it. But for people who want to believe, have their belief system be a little less limiting if they're aware of it. I have a friend who's been single for a long time, and she's really been just wanting love in her life. And, she keeps asking herself those questions. Well, maybe it's something I believe about, not finding love. And it's true, because what comes out of her mouth is sometimes you could hear it. You could hear it right away. Like, oh, wow, somewhere you believe that you're either not worthy of love, or that there's not enough men out there. There's not enough good men out there. There's things in her words that clearly there's some limiting beliefs in there. So she's been really like looking at that and dissecting that. But again, she's open to that because she wants to make change and see change in her own belief system, where some people don't.
Yeah, it's true that I think you need to be open to it and wanting it, the realization that, hey, this is what I might be believing in, and I'm open to changing that. And I think another big chunk of this, or challenge, is to believe that you can change your beliefs. It takes work, and it's not an easy thing. And like Juji mentioned, it's like being naked and getting into, it's like walking through this fire of like shedding some skin. And but you need to believe that it can be done, and then take the steps. And I mean, this is such a broad general topic. I mean, I love it because there is so much we can say about it. It's fascinating to me, because I've also like really become a lot more conscious, in the last, I don't know, decade or so, but more so lately. The older I get, the more it's so prominent in my head, our beliefs and our thoughts, and rewiring our brain, and just being different, because we can be. But it takes some steps, and it takes some work, and but it's all there, it's all available to us, and that's a beautiful thing.
Juge?
I mean, I would add to that it's really important to have people in your life who, help you question your beliefs. I feel like I've been present to more than one aha moment that each of you have had. One that comes to mind most specifically is, I remember I was on the phone with you, Kim, one time, and you were like trying to tell me about a client and how you were trying to like work around a challenge that they were facing. And I said, well, you don't need to prove anything to them. And you were like, what? I have the option that I don't have to like bend over backwards and not prove myself and my worth to them. And I was like, uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah, you absolutely have that choice.
Yeah, like I believe. Oh, go ahead, Lee.
And I was just going to say, that so reminds me of the aha moment that I had when I was in a very difficult situation years and years ago. And I think it was my sister who said to me, like, but why would you give this person power like this? You're giving away your power by being so frustrated and angry. And like, that's what's happening. It's taking away your power. And I'm like, oh my God, that is so true. And I don't want to give them my power. And, you shift, you start to shift your thinking and your beliefs.
Well, and that conversation made me see my belief somewhere deep, deep in my subconscious that I believed I needed to prove myself to this person. And look, I of course want to do a good job always with my work. And I do want to, have a good performance so they hire me again, or whatever the situation is. But somewhere deep down, I believed like I have to prove myself. I might not be good enough. I might not do a good job. I might not finish this. I might not be able to, do it to whatever, the best I can. Like whatever the thoughts were, somewhere there was a belief that I had to prove myself. And at the end of the day, I don't have to prove myself. That's not true. So just again, being open and looking at, well, what is the belief behind that? What do I really believe? Do I really believe that this, I don't know, like just really examining it fully, because belief, there is so much power in believing. I mean, when you think about athletes, they have to be their own best friends. When they're at the top of that ski mountain and they're about to go down in the Olympics or whatever it is, they have to be their best friend up there. They're not up there because they somewhere don't, deep down believe that they can't do this or they're going to fail. Having a strong belief system is going to help us take action, help us fulfill our goals in life, help us find joy that we want. Like, we wouldn't feel joy if we didn't believe that we, are going to have a joyful life, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have to say that there's such a strong, I am such a believer in the mind-body connection. And when we start to question our beliefs, we start to feel them. Like, if you're raised in a family that's racist, right? Those are beliefs, right? Black people are bad, or, gay people or whatever, just insert, adjective here. And then we take it on ourselves. We start to, when you think about the belief, your body will either like constrict or expand, And so for me, like, my dad's a Holocaust survivor, and God bless him, but I remember him saying certain things about groups of people, and that's racist, and I'm not saying my dad's a racist. Obviously he has certain beliefs because of what happened to him in his life, which were horrible and awful. But when we perpetuate beliefs that are incorrect or unprovable, like all blank people are blank, and then we take it upon ourselves, that is so constricting. It's so not connecting. It just makes you feel like shit, and that's why when you question them, and we're all lovers here, right? We all love. And so you have to realize that most things are based in either love or fear. And so when you start questioning your beliefs, you go, is that bringing me closer to the love part or closer to the fear part? And that's where it gets really interesting. You're like, oh, that's a fear-based belief, or that's a love-based belief. And it's just interesting when you can start to shift and sift through all of the beliefs that have been piled upon you your entire life, and then start just going like, what do I believe? What do I believe?
Right. Yeah. I think growing up, a lot of us, and we can question now, like, is that one of my parents' beliefs?
Right.
Is that how I grew up and what I saw and what I heard? And, and then you, like you said, you feel it. You feel like, okay, that's not so right, or that doesn't feel right, or it feels right. And I think so many kids take on their parents' beliefs and maybe later on start to shed those beliefs once they are with more, with their eyes wide open, right, and experiencing life out there. And that's when we have the freedom. We can take on whatever beliefs we choose to.
And wouldn't it be great if parents said, I believe, what do you believe, little Johnny? Like, ask your children, what do you believe? They can form their own opinion.
Right. Leave that open. Exactly. And also if parents also always, said to their child that they believe in them, like, you have, your own thoughts and your own beliefs, and, you kind of let them blossom. And like, I know, in my family, like, my parents were not educated. They didn't know about this stuff. They didn't know about, hey, teach my child some personal growth and about the world around them. It was more like, they worked their butts off. They came to America, worked their butts off. But so my belief systems were just based on really what I saw and what I experienced, until, still navigating it now. And for years to come, I'm sure.
Yes.
Well, I feel like what's almost easier is to say, like, oh, I can see that so-and-so, like your father, Shira, has a belief system. I see where it comes from. That doesn't, like, I don't believe that. It's almost harder to say, like, I formed this belief and that was wrong. Like, because then if you're wrong, then what other beliefs about yourself are wrong? Like, all of a sudden you start questioning everything that you thought you knew about yourself. And I feel like maybe that's like coming back to the original question of like, why do people hold on to beliefs that are no longer serving them? Because you almost feel like you can't pick and choose. It's like all or nothing. And we don't want to be perceived as wrong, even if it's about ourselves, even if it's literally just internal. Because like me saying to Kim something like, well, you know, you don't have to prove yourself. I remember for like months after that, she would call me every time or like leave me a voice note or something like, and I tried to prove myself again. Can you believe this? And I'm like, yeah, I can, because it's a belief that you're like trying to uproot. And
Yeah.
now you're trying to, it's like a habit that you're trying to break. I remember you went for a job interview that you already had. Like they were already like, we're giving you this job. And you were like, yeah. And I showed up to this interview and I like continued to try to prove to them that they should hire me, even though it was a meeting to talk about how they already hired me. I was like, yeah, like
Old habits die hard.
as jokey as I can be, like we're all nuts. We're all totally nuts. And like our beliefs are nuts. And it's like hilarious. We can talk about it now because like if we weren't laughing, we'd be crying about how
Right.
crazy we were about the beliefs that we have about ourselves. But it's like, it's a habit that you have to break at some point, and it's not easy. So it's interesting, you know, for us to have this support system. Like we get together every Monday, and yeah, we're here to like talk about the show and all of that stuff, but we inevitably end up talking about our personal lives, and that support system is invaluable.
Mhm.
You know, like I don't know what I would do without that. I don't know what I would do without you guys.
Amen, girl.
And it's
I
really,
believe you'd be in a much worse situation if you weren't friends with us. But wait, I have to say something really important, and that is that you all know that I'm a big meditator, and for the last, I don't know, I guess year and change, I made myself a playlist of music, like really beautiful, ethereal music. And in one particular section of my meditation, I literally start off that section of music with the words "I am." And then I just say a whole bunch of adjectives that I am. Now, I might not necessarily be that yet in terms of like, I will say, I am confident, very slowly say, I am confident. I am strong. I am intuitive. It's very cool to do with like, you know, an eye patch on and this ethereal music happening, but something happens to your body and eventually to your mind when you stand firm in who you are, right? And it might feel awkward in the beginning, but that is the way to uproot though, and just sort of snip them right at their core, to start reprogramming and reconfiguring our brains, is to literally say what you are.
Yeah, the power of words. And then it becomes a part of you, and you start, you know, it's ingrained in you, and you start to believe it, and then you start to feel it. And that's,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
that's how you
amazing.
do it. It just takes time.
Yeah.
I love affirmations, and they've like literally changed my life this year. And I know you all know that because we all have affirmations. We always talk about it. But even just like you said, saying something that might feel a bit false or not true in the beginning, like, you know, even just saying like, I love my life. And look, maybe there's a day where I don't love my life. But when you say I love my life and you just sit with that and you allow it to let you feel good, or find the statement that feels good, you know, something about work, something about your life, whatever it is, just saying that on a daily basis, even looking at yourself in the mirror and saying some words to yourself like that, eventually it seeps into you, like totally like into your unconscious. It does something so powerful. It's the whole, like, reminds me of law of attraction so much. I know it's all intertwined because I really believe that you get what you expect. And it's funny, it's become this like playful sentence in my house with my husband. And so, you know, sometimes he'll come home and he'll just, I don't, maybe even I'll say something like, you know, oh, you know, I'm so stressed out. And he'll be like, or I'm trying to think of a good example and I can't right now, but I'll say something and he'll be like, well, honey, you get what you expect. Or he'll say something and I'll be like, you get what you expect. And a lot of times it's just a story. It's just a story that we tell ourselves, a story that like our mind is, because somewhere deep down, we believe that to be true. And it's not, it's just a story. So we end up manifesting, like our life ends up, we end up manifesting something like some kind of circumstance, or all of a sudden our life will just look a certain way. And it's because we believe that whatever that is has now just like unfolded naturally in our life. So if you believe that you're abundant, you're going to see abundance in your life. If you believe that you're in lack and like, or just money is really hard to come by and you're always going to struggle, and that's kind of like your inner belief, that's going to become your reality. Like you're just going to find yourself always in those situations where you're struggling, and so
Yeah, it's about focus, really. At the end of the day, when you think of a camera, right? When you put the focus, you're taking the background and you're bringing it to the foreground, right? So focus is such an important part of everything we're talking about right now, because once you have that, you change the lens and it becomes clearer. It's like, oh, this is now my focus. And when you have an ability to focus on something, that's really powerful. Kind of like when we used to have the magnifying glass on the leaf, and it's like, oh, with the sun going through it and the thing would like literally light on fire. It's like, wow, focus. Yeah. That's the most important part.
And that's where meditation actually can change those beliefs or those lacks. If you don't feel abundant, if you feel like you don't have enough money, and if that's what you're thinking about, then that's what you're focused on, and that's what you're believing, and that's what you're feeling. So if that starts to shift into, okay, what is it that I do want? And let me not so much focus on or think about what I don't have, because as long as we are where we are lacking, this will be in our vibrational energy field and in our frequency. And this is all about law of attraction. And as long as we can take ourselves out of that, and I believe like one of the best ways is actually meditation, because we can get ourselves out of our heads, out of our thinking and thought process, and get into our inner selves, and start to change our belief process. Because if we're in a place where everything about us is feeling differently and seeing a whole new vision of great things that we're longing for, I believe that's what can start to take us there.
And also, Juju, you mentioned having us as your support system. Surrounding yourself with people who do believe. I think Shira's frozen. But as long as you, surround yourself with people who believe in you and who feed you positive words of encouragement, I think that's such key. Because I mean, I've had friends in my life who kind of are stuck in this complaining, expecting not so great things, and they live there, they live in that space, and that doesn't serve me, right? That doesn't really contribute to my growth. So I do think that's key. And also something else is, if someone is sort of struggling with, maybe affirmations don't really work for them, or they don't meditate and they really do want to be more open to believing, there are so many amazing videos and blogs and vlogs and all these sorts of things out there. I mean, on YouTube alone, like anytime I need inspiration, like let's say I'm failing at like believing something to be true that I really want, I'll just go on YouTube and type in inspirational video, and thousands come up, and I'll just watch a few, and then I find myself in this whole new positive feeling place. Like all of a sudden my belief is just I can tell like something shifted in me. And then I kind of get back to this, like, yeah, I can do this with my life, or I feel good now. I'm gonna get that job, or I'm gonna, So that's just something I wanted to add, that like inspirational videos are amazing when you're like down here and you just need to be lifted a little bit.
Yeah, agreed. I love those videos.
Yeah, so I think that's really a great place to wrap. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think we lost Shira. She must have lost connection there for a moment, but it's a good place to wrap.
That's okay. We'll see her later. Well, we hope that you've enjoyed our conversation today as much as we did. If you like our videos, please subscribe to our channel and be sure to let us know if you have any topic requests or questions by commenting below. We'll see you soon, everybody. Thank you so much for watching and stay safe.